All right, guys, I got a new piece of original art in. Can't wait to get in this baby. Not sure why it came in a box this big. Pause. But anyway, yeah, there's there's literally a piece of tracing paper in here of that that's in Fort Knox. Let's get in here and see what this is. Now, if you've seen my stuff before, I love to collect candy, toys, and art. So this is going to be in my art category. Let's go ahead and get in here. It's going to take a minute. I have another piece that I opened on Instagram that I'll share with you. That's a vintage Garbage Pail Kid piece. I do love my Garbage Pail Kids. All right, let's pull this out. This turns out to be just padding, a full box that was folded into a pad. By the way, this is my address. You want to take a good look at that? You guys can send me some fan mail. I have gotten fan mail before, by the way. It's very, very strange when you get something like that. It's like, who is this now? Where have you seen me before? Yeah, it's usually people that go to my YouTube channel, because I have my address on my YouTube channel. I've had it up for years. In the hopes that people would send me like old candy items maybe they found in their garage or whatever. That's only happened once. But anyway. Oh my Lord. Yeah, this has a piece of tracing paper in it from 1986 or 87. We're going to see in a minute. This is wild. Ow. Holy shit. Almost got a paper cut. Felt like it was so close. Yeah, my friend who's no longer in the group, I think he'll be back though. He was talking about the carbon footprint of just being a Garbage Pail Kid collector. Guys, look at all this cardboard. It is insane. Okay, so I'm in the middle now. There it is. There it is. I'm going to take this out of this very thick, holy shit, very thick piece of illustration board that I can put to good use if it's plain. I forgot what I was talking about, but yeah, so this is a piece by James Warhola. He's one of the three major artists from the OG period, or the well, yeah, OG period, OS period. Little Freudian slip there. Let's look at it. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I just can't get around this package. So yeah, this is a sealed piece of aqua board. That's very cool. So thank you to the guy who shipped this to me. Just randomly gave me a piece of art board. I'll definitely use it. Anyway, this is what we're after, right? So yeah, this is really cool. Happy to have this in. I collect definitely all this type of stuff, but yeah, when you get a pencil in from James Warhola, if you didn't know, he's the nephew of Andy Warhol, the famous pop artist, well, just famous artist. Anyway, look at this. So this is for, I've already pulled it. This is, my card box. By the way, have you ever noticed when you open your card box, you can always tell the new ones from the old ones, just from the rails, right? You call that the rails, due to, the yellowing over time. Anyway, this is the character. Now notice, we can learn a lot from this. Notice Warhola originally had this planned to be a vertical character, but then Topps, or this probably would have been Mark Newgarden's decision, decided to use the top half. But originally Warhola thought the banner would go here. This would be sort of a dead area. You would have the little pillbox name right here, and that would have been that. But then it was later changed to a horizontal character, like this, meaning you're cutting off, all this information. Now, if you look at it, it's very well drawn. Warhol is always going to give you the best drawings. But there's not much information. I mean, all we have is we can learn a little bit about him. Maybe he's a worker. Seems like he has some work pants on. He's got his arm sleeves rolled up like he's a worker, like he's been busy doing something. In his pocket, you know, pencils and erasers and stuff. So the hair is throwing me off, though. I mean, this is like a little junior worker. Notice they did make a major change, or Warhola did this change. He made a change with the hair. He went away from the alfalfa look and went with more of just a smoother design. So yeah, it's interesting seeing stuff like this, because you would have never known, because this is what we grew up with. This is all we've seen since we were children. I was 11 when this particular card came out. I never knew that it was originally supposed to show the full figure. One thing, I think the biggest thing we're missing is the gesture of his arms, this frustration or just whatever. Because if you notice, he's in a conversation with his tongue. And his tongue, he's sticking his tongue out, and his tongue is sticking his tongue back at him. So, but a beautiful drawing. I'm going to show you some more Warholas, so don't leave. Don't leave. One neat thing, we can go ahead and do this. Let me move this card. In fact, I want to move this whole, hold on, let me move this card box. Okay, let's look at these. So we're just going to look at some Warholas. These are the ones that I have that fit in a binder. I also have some that are somewhere else that are like this big. I think they're like 14 by 12 or something, so they don't fit this binder. But these are the ones that do. Anyway, so this will go in this. What you get to see is, now you get to see, oh, okay, so this must be Warhola's process. Yes, so he would take a blank sheet of tracing paper. Now, not every artist did this. This is why I'm pointing this out. In fact, no other artist did this. So, now they had their similar methods, but I'm just telling you Warhol's method. So he would take just a basic piece of tracing paper. Now this one's been mounted or laid down onto a white piece of paper, so it pops a little bit more. But anyway, but when Warhola had it, there was no white behind it. So anyway, he'd take a piece of tracing paper. He would go ahead and draw the proportion of a card. Now, obviously it's bigger than a normal card. But if you back this up, check it out. It's the exact size of a trading card. And this is something he did in his house. He would just map it out. I mean, it's not that hard to do a little math there, you know, for some people. Maybe it is. But look at how well he draws. And I've always loved about his pencil roughs is he has a lot of, you know, marks, a lot of gesture marks. Okay, so this is loose leaf. Can't really remember what series that one's from. Here's an unpublished one. Now, he did take this to, let me sit back down. Warhola did eventually paint this, but what people don't know about this piece, it was rejected for one thing. That's one reason people don't know about this piece. But what people don't know about the painting is Warhola did not do the painting. His girlfriend did the painting. And he was telling me that this wasn't the only one that his girlfriend painted for him. He had some other ones where his girlfriend painted. And if you go back and look at your Garbage Pail Kids, if you pick out all the Warholas, I personally can pick out the girlfriend ones from his. Because the girlfriend ones have kind of a flatness to them, particularly in the background. Here's some others. Now, this would not qualify as a pencil rough. These are concept sketches for Vampire, the blood-sucking vampire who's in the hospital. You might recall that character. However, this one isn't the official pencil rough for Charred Coal. One of my favorite characters. I mean, this pencil, a lot of people point this out with Warhola. The pencil roughs are almost as good as the finals, but you could say that's what everyone says, though. Obviously, like you can say that about anything, but the point of saying that is truly, it's almost like having a final because, like I said before, look at, let me get you in there. Look at all of the marks and the scribble. You just don't see this with some of the other artists. He's really getting in there and doing his thing, yeah. So that was all for the pencils that are in here. No, actually, no, it's not. No, it's not. So this is a final from Warhola. Now it's a late final. I believe it's brand new series something. I just love this one. 2012, yeah, that's going to be a brand new series, right? For sure. I think it's brand new series 1, or at least 2012 was brand new series 1. Now, this is an OS Warhola. I love his signature, don't you? Look at that. One of the best signatures. I've talked about this in other streams, but with illustration, you know, if you go to an art museum, you know, like a fine art museum, you can't barely read the artist's signatures. Well, with illustration, this isn't fine art. You understand that, right? This is illustration. This is something that's published. Anyway, for illustration, your signature is supposed to be very legible. That's because it's printed and all this. And so the illustrators, if you look at their signatures, you're supposed to be able to easily read it. I would say Warhola's is actually almost borders on a little too fancy. But these are color roughs, we call them. This is where he's mapping out the color. He's got it drawn. He's got his character. He's got everything where he wants it. Now, before I sit down and before I paint this on maybe a piece of board like this, you know, before I commit to this work of art that's going to take me days. Now, Pound took a day, but anyway, he would map out the colors. Usually you do it with a loose medium like watercolor, gouache, something along those lines. That's the pencil for, I think her name is Crystal Ball. Yeah, I don't remember. Here's a color rough for the Marshmallow character. This is one that I have the other stuff for, but it's way too big. They don't fit in the binders. This would fall under the final category. This is the final piece before it was printed. The final painting. I'm spacing on his name too. And apparently James Warhola was too. Damn. Okay, and I think that's about it for Warhola that's in this binder. Yep. Yeah, that's about it. So, did I lose? Did I leave it back here? Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is the piece that just came in. Amazing piece. OS. Originally went to this card. Actually, this says 1988. I forget the series this is from. And this one does not come with the COA, but it's signed and everything. Cool. One last thing, I did get this in recently in the past month that I don't think I shared on here. I can't remember. But so yeah, I added another chewy candy. You know the little actually I can grab them. You know these? I have a million of them. Plus I have bags of sealed ones. But you know the chewy candies that has the characters on them. So I had these two. That's an OS1. That's OS2. I was able to add Junkie Jeff or Stinky Stan to it. One cool thing. Actually, I'll show you this real quick. A lot of people don't know this about these chewy candy artworks. Let me show you this shit. So you see this card here, Stinky Stan, right? It's a blank back error card. This is something that was used in the new product department at Topps. This is something that, you know, they were trying to get the line art for, to produce on these wrappers. And so the cards they were using that they had sitting out on their desks weren't necessarily the ones that we got as children, you know, the ones that with the backs on them and stuff. They were using proofs. They were using basically play models of the cards. And so that's one thing that's so cool about getting these candy artworks in, is they're the blank back error ones. So super cool. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed that. I love that the group is popping off, getting more members. That's awesome. Looks like things are back to business. We're going into sort of, I would imagine it's going to be a sort of a slow fall drag. I do have some projects I'm personally working on that I'll post here eventually. And I've got some friends that are doing some things, but as far as like Topps goes, it's a little grim at the moment. Who knows, right? Well, cool. Good deal, man. Well, y'all have a good rest of your day. Cheap toys have been so dead recently. I mean, they did just produce a couple of, you know, groups produced 2 of them that are still going on. But other than that, I'm talking about like vintage cheap toys. So I'm kind of taking a break on the vintage cheap toys right now. There's just nothing really going on. But yeah, very cool. Well, thank you to the guy that sent this over, and for this too. That's pretty cool. All right, see you guys in the next one. Russ Van out.